Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. The patch notes for the new update coming tomorrow have just landed. I want to break it down for you here in this video so you're up to date with absolutely everything that's going to be coming to Rogue Company very shortly. It's going to include the new Rogue Seeker, the new map hollows, changes to demolition game modes and the entire economy system within the game, and a bunch of other balancing changes and bug fixes that I'm sure you'll want to know about. If you do go on to enjoy the video or you just want to see daily, educational Rogue Company content, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. But for now, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing to mention is going to be the new Rogue Seeker. He's a new intel-based rogue who is a very unique kit with a bow and arrow as his main ability. The bow and arrow bounce off walls and reveals enemies along its flight path, and Seeker generally has a great kit that I think will be adapted into the game. Although I'm not going to talk too much about Seeker in this video, I've gone over him before on the channel, and you should go check out my Will Seeker Be Meta video if you want to learn more about him. But the very big basics are he's going to have a new AR, the Sahara, which is kind of like the HRM as a heavy hitting, longer range, slower fire rate assault rifle. He's going to have the Aaron L212, which is the scoped DMR that we originally saw in Phantom before it was removed. And this is going to be such great stats, but will have the knockoff effect of being a first person scoped perspective. Seeker's kit generally is going to be really good and he's going to fit very well into the game. But again, check out that video if you want to learn more specifically about Seeker. The new map Hollows is going to be added to the game, which I think is going to add a lot of variety. It's a very large map with benefits to long rotations, and I like the way it looks and plays when I was on it in the PTS. I think it's going to have great angles, particularly for Seeker, but also other rogues who benefit from the longer range playstyle. It has tight corners, has good flank opportunities, and also has some great moments that you can pull some good clutch plays with organized teams. I think it's going to run really well for Strikeout and Demolition, and the new game mode, Assault. Assault is a game mode that will be added into this patch as the new limited time mode, which basically blends Demolition and Strikeout together. Both teams having a 12 lives ticket similar to Strikeout, but the attackers trying to plant the bomb at one bomb site location. When the defenders defuse it, however, it will not end the round, it will simply revert the bomb back to its original spawn, as will the bomb being left idle for too long. This puts a lot of pressure on the attacking team to get that bomb down and hold the position long enough for it to detonate, or try and run the lives out of their enemies. I think this will be a great addition to the game. I think it'll be good LTM with a lot of variety, and I think it'll be really fun for you guys, and I certainly enjoyed it when I played on the PTS as well. There's some big things coming to game modes though here in this update. Not only will Wingman and Wingman Strikeout be added to the custom game rotation, meaning we can do them in custom games now, which will be great for tournaments, 2v2s, and general 1v1s if you're interested in that with your streamers like myself. But there'll be other gamers that are changing as well. Strikeout is changing in that the lives are going from 12 to 16, making the games ever so slightly longer, but also allowing you to get more kills. And the starting cash is going from 12,000 to 13,000 to adjust for some of the economy changes that have happened in this update that we'll go on to later. In that same vein, Countdown is going from a best of 3 to a best of 5 as well to increase the amount of time. That's kind of a common theme. They're trying to extend the amount of time that we actually spend in game. The standard Wingman mode is going from a best of 9 to a best of 13, meaning it's first to 7 rather than first to 5 like usual, and the Wingman Strikeout mode is going from 10 tickets to 12 tickets. The big one, however, and the one that has caused a lot of debate in the community is Demolition, and this is going from a first to 7 to a first to 9, adding an extra 2 rounds per half. The economy has been adjusted for this, and now you earn a little bit less money for winning and earn a little bit less money for losing by 1,000 each, but it will extend the amount of times that the game is being played for, and will make stomps or 9-0 feel longer, and will make really close games like a 9-8 much longer as well. There's been a lot of debate in the community about whether this is the right change, but honestly guys, we're going to have to get in and play it before we can really make an assumption. It could lead to great comebacks, it could lead to more adaptation, or it could just make it a really long, exhausting game mode and less fun for casuals. We won't know until we get in and play it, and I'm saving my judgment for that time as well. The ranked game mode is getting a slight tweak as well. Now Glacier and Arena will no longer be available in that game mode, which honestly for a lot of people like myself is a bit of a blessing because those maps do not run very well in Demolition and competitively. Now we're going to get onto some balancing changes, and there's a few rogues that have been changed and some weapons that have been adjusted as well. Dahlia can now no longer link to down enemies, meaning you have to pre-link to somebody who is still alive. You can no longer wait for someone to go down and revive them. That has been a common playstyle for Dahlia in recent weeks. Scorch is getting a change that her overheat ability is going from 5 damage per tick to 4 damage per tick, which is honestly minimal damage, but over time might lead to 1 more extra bullet being needed. Sigrid no longer has Evade, and she now has a perk called Toughen Up, which is brand new to the game and reduces incoming melee damage by 30%. This includes like physical melee attacks like swings, but also thrown melee weapons, which is really big. She also no longer has tracker rounds and now has life drain instead. Vi is changing very slightly so that she now no longer has tenacity, but has bounce back instead, which I think works better with her kit, especially with the nerf to tenacity that we'll talk about when we get onto the perks. In terms of weapons, there's been a few small adjustments. The Arbitrator, which is Anvil, and Scorch's shotgun, which has been a big problem, has gone from a body damage of 104 back down to 90, which means it will no longer be a one-tap to the body. The HRM 30KS is having a small issue where its bloom, which is basically essentially the amount of spread the bullets have, was greater than desired, so that is being reduced to be a normal standard. The Warrant, which is Fixit and Seeker's pistol, is having a slight range increase from 12 to 13 meters and a body damage increase from 20 to 21. They're all the balancing changes as such. Now we're going to go on to the economy changes that have come as a result of the change and longer time for demolition. You can't have a longer demolition but the same amount of money. Otherwise, it wouldn't quite flow as well. You would have all your money and all your perks saved up before you even reach the final rounds. And so they've had to adjust it. And here's going to be some of those changes. I'm going to go over them fairly briefly because I want to make a whole video particularly about the economy changes and what impact that's going to have. But here's the very basic rundown. Weapons primarily are remaining the same cost, except SMGs and shotguns are now going to be cost 7,000 rather than 8,000 to initially buy. That is a massive change. And the reason for this is because they felt that those weapons were underperforming and therefore less valuable. Not necessarily a change I agree with, but happens to be the one that they made. When it comes to gadgets, there's a few small changes. I'm going to break it down like this. Lethal gadgets are now going up to cost 5,000 rather than 4,000. That explains some of the changes to the economy where you now start with 13,000. All of the non-lethal gadgets still cost 4,000, but the ones that are not high priority, such as the adrenaline shot and the EMP grenade, are now having their upgrades slightly reduced in the fact that they're now 2,000 and 3,000, whereas things like the flashbang and the smoke grenade, which are very valuable, will still have the same upgrade cost. Flashbangs also now have a small increase in their explosion radius, so you'll be hitting them a little bit more consistently. Perks have also considerably changed within the game's economy. $4,000 perks that we originally saw now cost $3,000, and a lot of the $6,500 perks have gone down to only cost $5,000. The exception to that is Tenacity and Stalker, which still cost $6,500, but there's been an additional change to tenacity that is very interesting. And this is that the explosive reduction charge, the amount that it actually reduces, has gone from 40% to 30%. And that is very, very big because what that means is an upgraded C4 and an upgraded grenade, which has now also gone to 150 damage at its full upgrade, will now down you. And that means that tenacity is falling to a much earlier game perk rather than the late game monster that it's always been at protecting you from explosions. Now, someone putting a bit of money in their utility is going to counter it. It's been a big debate in the community. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I think that them going for this and opting for an earlier gameplay style and focus on tenacity while still rewarding someone who upgrades their lethals is probably okay. For the $10,000 perks, Headstrong, Tracker Rounds, and Life Drain have now all gone up to 12,000. Resupply has gone up to 1,000, but Replenish and Lifeline are staying at 10,000. Again, I will go way more into the economy and what all of that means in a separate video, but that's the basic rundown for you guys. In terms of maps, there's been no additional features added to the maps, but a general bug fix across most of the maps. They've really focused on bug fixes this update, and hopefully it runs really smoothly, but a lot of the maps have been changed and adjusted to help for some bugs. Now we get onto the quality of life stuff, and this is very, very specific, and some of the things they've changed were not necessarily asked for, but may have quite a big impact on the game, and I'll go over them now. The first is very interesting. This is a new match protection system. What it says is that matchmaking is now designed to prevent matches without a full lobby from launching. So if your teammate goes AFK before the match has even started, it will prevent that game from starting. If the player disconnects from the match during its initial start, the match will end and players will return to the lobby, and this will not impact any in-game progress. I think this is a great change to help against AFKs in the early stages of the game, and will probably have a really big impact in your ranked games where you don't have to now surrender. It will just automatically end. You don't have to worry about potentially losing any rank. The minimap is also getting a small change where it's going from a 30-meter radius coverage to a 45-meter, so you'll be able to see more on the minimap, but it will now be hidden when you aim down sight. As we all know, there's been a change to help adjust for crouch spamming, so it's a little less effective in games. And there's also been a change to aim assist for controller players, where the vertical recoil was apparently a little bit less than it was desired. So we should be seeing a little bit more kick on our vertical recoil when we're playing on controller. One big change as well that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy is you can now emote in the pre-game lobby. Other than that, guys, there's been a myriad of bugs and fixes that have gone into this update. I said when we were playing with Scott Gandy, said they fixed over 250 individual issues within the game that were big or small, and hopefully the game should be running a lot better now, but we just have to make sure we're reporting bugs and issues to the developers when we get into it so they can fix it as soon as possible. Okay, guys, that's going to be the end of this patch notes breakdown. I'm really looking forward to this update. I think it's going to be a great addition to the game. I think Seeker's great. The new map is good. We're going to have to test out the economy and demolition changes to see how they really feel, so don't make snap judgments on them. Really think about how they impact when you've actually tried them out. If you do want to see more content from me or you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RadTharGaming to see live gameplay commentaries, guides, Q&As, and playing with viewers. All the links you're going to need are down in the description below, but for now, I hope you have a fantastic day. And remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless, and I'll catch you in the next video.